Hey folks, just a quick check-in to let you all know that Charlie Kirk has indeed died tonight at that rally in Utah. Yep, it's posted on my community tab, so if you want to look at that and other updates on this matter, keep checking YouTube. I'm sure there'll be more stories posted about it over the course of the evening, so I wanted to get on here real quick and tell you that Charlie Kirk has indeed died at that rally tonight in Utah. As I said about over a half an hour ago, that it didn't look good for Charlie Kirk, and how I told you about a member of the military, a former member of the military, said on his channel that it looked like Charlie Kirk had taken a shot to his jugular vein. And from what witnesses have said, one lady said she saw him get shot in the neck. He grabbed at his neck and his eyes rolled back and it was lights out. But the one question I want to ask, where was the big security team? Where was all the security team that was supposed to protect this guy? If you're having a big event at a college campus where maybe several hundred to 1,000 people were there, if not more than that, where was the security teams? Where were the security checks? Somebody failed. I should feel sorry for him for the public figure side, but I don't think so. But I feel bad for his family because now they're going to have to make funeral plans and they're going to have to live with the fact that their loved one had been murdered in front of the entire world. Everything is on camera now. Part of me is sad for Charlie's family, but like I said, I'm at the point now as a person in public. They should tell all people, no matter what side of the fence you're on, you need to get off your high horses and start doing your job. Start doing your job, stop the motherfucking discourse, and do your jobs. Lower the inflation. Help people cover their bills by getting prices lowered. Do your jobs. And when you're a public official, you run the risk of having crazies shoot you with a gun. If you become a famous political figure or a music star, you run the risk of getting shot and killed. Selena Quintanilla Perez was shot and killed by her fan club president. John Lennon was killed by a moron outside of his home at the Dakota. Christina Grimmie was killed after a concert, and her brother tried to stop the attacker, but she got shot and she didn't make it. And let's not forget Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious B.I.G., one of the biggest rappers in the world, wound up getting shot and killed. And I don't think they ever found his killer. And if they did, I think he's in jail. But, when you become a big figure, you run the risk of getting killed. I want to remind you guys of something. You remember Gabrielle Giffords, right? She was in the political sphere for a long time, and she was at some big shindig for news, media, or whatever. She got shot through the head. A lot of people didn't think she was going to make it. But somehow or another, she made it through. She's slightly disabled now, but she's still alive and is living her life. But again, no matter what side of the political field you're on, all the stress and all the strain and all the division has culminated up to what happened tonight. It began with the one big fuse several years ago. I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose voters. That opened the door to the gun nuts and the racists and the pricks and the jerks that want to take away my rights as a woman, that want to take away our rights as people in this country to be able to go into places like D.C., Chicago, places in Ohio, California, no matter what state, without fear of being persecuted and tormented. And again, Donald Trump should consider himself lucky. He could have ended up like Charlie Kirk. Except Charlie Kirk wasn't so lucky. An army guy on one of these YouTube channels said it looked like he got hit in the jugular. But people were complaining about how footage is being frosted over for YouTube consumption. That's to stay within the guidelines of YouTube. They don't want young kids seeing violence. I know it sounds stupid, but, I'm a full-grown ass adult, 54 years old, beaten down by many systems, whether it's societal systems, the old school marms that told me I was no good and all this other shit. I may have been born 54 years ago, but I wasn't born yesterday. I know a scumbag when I see one, and Donald Trump is definitely one. And those who support Donald Trump and his twisted ideologies, you're part of the problem. And as they say, guns don't kill people, people kill people. That is so true. And when you become a public official, you run the risk of getting shot. You become famous in Hollywood, you run the risk of getting killed. I can't remember the name of the young woman that starred on the show My Sister Sam, who got stalked by a weird guy and was often sent gifts by this crazy person. And back in the day, they didn't have safety protocols where stars didn't have any safety protocols for their addresses. This woman's stalker got her address and went to her apartment twice. And when he went back the second time, he shot her in her own front door, and she later died. And people like John Lennon, he was on his way back from recording a recording session at the record plant. He worked on a couple songs, one with his wife Yoko, and he was coming home to be with his little boy, Sean. They get out into the breezeway, and the guy that he met earlier and signed the guy's Double Fantasy album yelled out, "Mr. Lennon," and he shot John Lennon in the back over 4 times. The police gather him up, take him to Roosevelt Hospital, but he was dead when he got there. And Charlie Kirk has entered the realm of a person that was shot and killed because he was a public official. It happened to JFK, and his head got blown wide open. Abraham Zapruder took that footage and was hounded for it by media and various people. And at times, Abraham would say, "I wish I never took that footage. I wanted to film something historic." He's like, "I got something historic, all right, but it wasn't the historic that I had planned on." So, yeah. But when you become a public official, you run the risk of getting shot and killed or maimed like Gabrielle Giffords. So, Yeah, and I remember some kook trying to kill Ronald Reagan in 1981. Some crazy asshole that did it because he wanted to impress Jodie Foster. So, yeah. But seriously, folks, if we want to end the discourse, we need to start working together. That's how government works. You find a roadblock, you find a way to work through it. You don't stab each other in the back. But until the government gets their shit together, I'm not going to trust any one of them. Because if they don't do their jobs, I'm going to find a way to vote them out when their term comes up for either getting them out or renewal. If they don't do their job, as far as I'm concerned, I will try to get them booted out with my vote. And Donald Trump will never take away my right to vote. But, you know, those who voted for Trump voted for the discourse. I'm doing everything I can to keep my blood pressure down. And when I hear about what's going on in D.C. and what's heading to Chicago possibly, it really scares me about the future of this country. Democracy is barely on life support as it is. And to the government, get your act together, or else we're going to be seeing more things like what happened today in Utah. That's all I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get on here in a day, maybe two. I don't know. Right now, I'm just not in the best of moods, so I'm not in the mood for any bullshit. People are complaining that Charlie Kirk was murdered. No shit, he was murdered. But I think most of it is the political discourse. But we need to stop the blaming and start doing our jobs. Get the guy who did it, persecute him, and then get back to work. That is all I'm asking. Period. End of story. Good night, everybody. I'll talk to you at a later time. Good night.